Now available on Kickstarter, John Haynes at Death's Door. The man who rules the world takes on the Greek god of death in this all-new Kickstarter exclusive John Haynes comic book. Put in your pledge and get the standard, variant, or retro covers of John Haynes at Death's Door and other great stretch goal rewards on Kickstarter today. Many black men get too emotional over the subject of women. Now, I have noticed ever since I was 12 years old that a lot of black men get way too emotional over the subject of women. Now, back when I was 12 years old, I used to get bullied by other boys, all because I didn't have a girlfriend. And these males would get so emotional and so angry that they wanted to get physical, to the point that they wanted to go out here and have fights with me, all because I didn't have a girlfriend. Now, I didn't understand what was making these males so emotional until I watched a Black Male Advice TV, aka Ringo, video where he talked about black male jealousy as related to competition. And a lot of black males, they get really emotional because they are jealous of another boy or another man that they feel like they fear competing with in the dating marketplace. And because these individuals fear competing with another boy or another man for the attention of the girls or the women, what they do is they wind up getting in their emotions, and as they get into their emotions, they don't know how to navigate through them. And because they don't know how to navigate through those emotions, what they do is wind up acting on impulse, and then they wind up getting emotional to the point where they start yelling and saying things, or they start going out here and looking to get physically violent with another man, all because they fear that they have to go out here and step up and go out here and have to actually compete against another man for the attention of women. And it's that feelings of inadequacy about competing against with other men for the attention of women. This is one of the things that leads to many of your black males winding up getting emotional out here. And as they get emotional out here, they don't see how being so emotional winds up being something that works to their detriment. Now, many of these guys, what makes them really more so emotional, again, is they have to go out here and compete against other men. But the main reason why they get so emotional to the point where they get physical is because many of these males were raised in single mother households, and they learn how to compete in the social marketplace like a woman. And because they learn how to compete like a woman, this is what has them so emotional, because most females, they need a man, and they need a man almost immediately because they cannot survive without men. So these males learn this, and then they learn how to be emotional just like the female, and they learn how to become extremely aggressive like the female, not understanding that the male doesn't need to be aggressive. No, the male, when he goes out here and he competes, he doesn't need to go out here and get physical with another man because he doesn't have a woman. No, a man who is out here, as he grows older, he understands he doesn't need to get physical with another man because he understands he is the prize, because he is the Most High's head, and he is the Most High's steward. Unfortunately, many of your black males, they don't come out of this competitive jealousy, and because they don't come out of that competitive jealousy, they continue to act on their feelings, and when they act on their feelings, sadly, we start to see the black male's dysfunction on display. And as we see the black male's dysfunction on display, as he's getting emotional about the subject of women, what he does is he gets so in his feelings that what he wants to do is he wants to start yelling at other men, or he wants to start showing out in front of other men in an effort to impress females. It's like the late David Carroll used to say, That's one of the reasons why he didn't want to go to parties, is because when you have many of these black males out here, what they will do when they see a female is they will get into their competitive jealousy, and then they will start showing out, hoping to impress the female by participating in either a fight or some violent display to show their so-called machismo, or they're going to go out here and pull out weapons and start talking about how much of a bad guy that they are. All of these displays are emotional displays that these guys participate in order to get the attention of women. Unfortunately, many of these guys don't understand how them acting impulsively on their emotions is to their detriment, because you are not impressing the woman by going out here and participating in these displays. No, what you're doing is showing the female how weak you are, because when they see you getting emotional, they don't see a man who they find to be attractive. And this is what many black males don't really understand. They don't understand the more emotional you are, the more you are alienating many of the same women out here that you are trying to attract. Every time you participate in an emotional display, what you're doing is sending a message to many of the women you're trying to impress that you're weak. And what you're doing is saying that you have no self-control. And when you have no self-control, what you're sending a message to everyone is that all I need to do is push the right buttons and I can get this guy to act out. And when these guys go out here and again getting emotional over women, all they're doing is sending a message to most people out here that all we need to do is go out here and do a certain thing, and you can get this person emotional and riled up. So when you see a lot of these black males, they'll go on and do these live streams where they're talking about black women. They don't understand how them getting emotional, where they're raising their voice, they're getting personal. They think that they're trying to get their point across and trying to appear to be dominant, but what's happening is that they're sending a message to the world that they are weak men, because if you're getting emotional over over women, and you're getting emotional to the point where you're saying things that are just off the chain, where you're raising your voice, and when you're losing it, what you're doing is you're sending a message to all of the women out here that you're a weak man, and that you're a man that can easily be controlled, all by just saying 2 words, black women. That's what many men don't really understand. They don't understand that when you start to get in your feelings and you're getting emotional, you just gave people a cue to say, we know what buttons to push, and we know how to go out here and get this guy riled up. And once they get you riled, once they know how to get you riled up, they use this as a way to control many black men. And that's what's one of the things that has led to the ongoing back and forth in the gender wars. We have many black men who get emotional over the subject of your black women. And when you get emotional over the subject of black women, all they know that all they have to do is say certain words, and they can get you riled up, get you to watch the video, get you to watch the live stream. And this is why it is important for black men to start learning how to navigate through their emotions, because learning how to navigate through your emotions is how you get control over the situations as related to the subject of women. Now, navigating through your emotions means, yes, you can have the feelings, but you're not going to act on the feelings. That's what a man who has strong discipline and self-control does. He hears the words, he has the feelings, but he doesn't act on the feelings, and he keeps a straight face as related to the subject, so that people cannot gain any sort of control. because once people see that you are somewhat stoic, what they do is they know, okay, I can't push this person's buttons. I can't get them agitated. I can't get them upset. And if I can't get them upset, that means that button that I'm trying to push isn't going to work. Now, black men, as I see it, have to get control over their feelings as related to women, because as I was growing up in the South Bronx during the 80s, I saw a lot of black men who did not have good self-control over their feelings as related to the subject of women, and many of these guys, they wound up getting into fistfights. Some of them wound up getting shot, and some of them wound up killing someone over one of these females. And what happened was this person, after they took the life of another black man, they wound up going to prison, where they got turned out by Bubba and Tiny for your Little Debbie snack cakes, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pies, cans of Dr. Pepper, and other assorted commissary items. And that's all because they didn't have good discipline or good self-control over the subject of women. Because some black males, once they hear the subject of women, that's when they start to cock an ear. Then they want to go out here and have an argument with another person. And again, that's just poor discipline and self-control, because you should not let a subject get you to the point where you're in your feelings, and so in your feelings that you're not learning to control yourself. Because I've seen, sadly, on social media, many black males get so emotional over the subject of your black women that they're practically going on live streams that go on for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, and that's all because they don't have a, good emotional locus of self-control. Because when you have a good locus of self-control, you're only going to say, look, I'm only going to stay on here for an hour and 15 minutes, and I'm going to make my points, and I'm going to keep it moving. But when you're in your emotions, you go on, and you might have that subject, but you'll go on to have a back and forth with another dude. And again, black men have to get control over our emotions, over the subject of women, because I see it as one of the major Achilles heels that many black men have. We don't really have good self-control as related to the subject of women. And when you don't have good self-control over a subject, people use this to take advantage of you, and they use it to go out here and have you losing all of your self-control. And they use that, your emotional reactions, to, like I see on social media, get lots of views at your expense. And they also use this to prove their point about how black men have really, poor self-control, and that's what makes them bad partners. But the whole thing is that you have to get control over this whole issue of women, because when you get control over yourself on this subject, this is how you gain the respect of women. Because when women see a man who has control over his emotions, a man who has strong discipline, that's a man they're going to respect, because that man isn't going to react to these women. No, he's going to respond by not showing any emotion. And by him showing no emotion, this shows strength of character. And when you show strength of character, then you're going to attract more quality women towards you. But when you see a man getting emotional to the point where he's practically losing it on social media or in the street, that just sends a message to predatory women. This is a weak guy, and all I need to do is push the right buttons, and I can get whatever I want. And all I need to do is get this guy in his feelings, and I can get him to do whatever I want. And that's something that, again, shows weakness in a man. Because when you are in your feelings to the point where you want to fight another guy over a woman, when you want to fight another guy because he doesn't have a woman, when you're getting to the point where you're so emotional and so out of control, This is not a good thing for a man to have, and many men out here, they don't understand why it's important for a man to have a good locus of self-control and have good control over his feelings, because you shouldn't be getting emotional over the subject of women, because getting emotional over the subject of women tells women you're not a man that's ready for a relationship, and it tells those women that you're just another tool they can use to move themselves from point A to point B. Because again, men have to have control over their emotions. We have to work through our emotions, because the whole thing about getting emotional over women is that you're sending a message again to those women that you are not somebody who she needs to take seriously. And when she sees you in your feelings and she sees you acting out, she doesn't see you as a serious partner for a relationship. She just sees you as some sort of fun time guy in some cases, or she basically sees you as the latest simp that she can use, again, to get from point A to point B. So I look at a lot of black men out here, and one of the subjects I see them having a problem with is women. And the problem is that they get too emotional. They take things too personal. And when you go out here and get emotional and take things too personal, you put yourself in a situation where you become somebody that people see as a tool, and you don't want to be the guy who is seen as a tool. You want to be a leader. You want to be a head. And the only way for you to be a head is to have control over yourself, because if you have control over yourself, it sends a message to other people that they need to respect you. Because if you get to the point where you're getting emotional every time somebody talks about the subject of women, you are sending everybody a message that you are not a man that they need to go out here and take seriously. Now, if you want to learn more about how to break out of this whole state of being emotional over women, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping: Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find Stop Simping on Smashwords, the iBook Store, and Google Play. And if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, E-Steam Horror of the Hyena Woman. Hell's aspiring angel takes on a wicked werewolf in this action-packed all-new E-Steam series adventure. Get E-Steam Horror of the Hyena Woman in paperback and e-readers today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis Legacy. Sorority secrets of the goddess next door are revealed in this all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis Legacy in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere.